2 is very good.
So, why do people still moon over Sephiroth when we've got this guy?
Well, it's obvious in the city that the worst villain is actually the Emperor. I mean, he bosses them all around, like, and does nothing.
Oh, those are bold words.
No, they aren't.
I actually like
Please.
the Emperor. Yeah,
The
no, I
Emperor is
actually like
amazing.
the Emperor.
In the city, the Emperor is the villain. Period.
Nah, I thought... I don't know. Honestly,
Yeah.
I like the Emperor better than Sephiroth. But then again, I hate that guy, Sephiroth. Maybe I'm just
Sephiroth
biased.
isn't that bad.
Well, I don't know. I didn't like him that much. Perhaps it's all because of the hype backlash. I don't know.
Well, if you play Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth is very barely present in that game anyway. He's much more
Exactly.
overexposed than everything else.
Yeah, that's...
And
that's what I'm
Sephiroth is
saying,
actually more villainous in Advent Children than in 7. At least I found out.
But if we have to make a comparison, at least you can say that the Emperor was always there. He was always a constant threat. Sephiroth, he was missing for 3/4 of the game.
Exactly. Well,
That's my point.
the Emperor
If I had to
actually...
choose a worse villain than the Emperor, I would go with Sephiroth. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Gallant Isley
Just say it.
is amazing. Well, but I'm a Super Coke fan, so whatever. No, if there's something that the Final Fantasy 13 and 20 brought were good villains.
13-2?
Yeah, I played 13, so I can't
Kaius is a great villain too. It's the only good thing of that game.
Also, you can there are two other good things about the game. One being the little cat Sith pot monsters, and the wonderful hats you can put on your enemy, or you put on your party members.
This is coming from someone who's got sick, kind of got sick of Final Fantasy after 12. But I mean, and this is coming from my experiences of working at a game store. But I've seen the trailer probably about 10 to 20 times per day for 13.2.
Oh,
and I just kind of thought Caius was really hammy. I didn't like Caius. No.
he is very hammy, but he's also a great villain.
In what way?
No, he's not. No, but Caius isn't even half as hammy as Barthandel is. Barthandel is super hammy. Just his speech at the Polynesian
Excuse me,
was...
plot question. Does anyone know why Shadow chose to remain behind?
Because his dog.
Um,
Yeah, it's his dog.
He's a jerk.
This has always bugged me. Why isn't he helping the others?
Why isn't he helping his daughter?
Maybe he
He
feels
needs
guilty
his-
about
I mean,
something.
He needs his beauty
we
sleep.
could speculate a lot, but we're never given an actual reason that he's not helping. Yeah, you could say the place brought him bad memories, that he was wrecked with guilt, whatever. But we're never told this. As far as the plot goes, we never know why Shadow chose not to help these guys. What a dick.
I just assume it was guilt,
Well,
and that of his, his backstory and such.
Maybe he was just really sleepy.
Yeah, and of course he
Why doesn't he?
does redeem himself with this awesome Batman-esque escape scene.
Yeah, but why doesn't he try to redeem himself by saving his daughter?
That's a very good question. That's exactly what I'm saying. We never know. The game never tells us why he does nothing.
Got an idea what they're...
So,
You know, if we had to
Why
think
was
of a
Realm
caption for this scene,
inside?
I think we should label it fail. Everyone tossing magic ice balls at the burning house, and yeah, that does a great good.
so Strago joins the party here. Strago is considered to be the worst party member in the game besides Umaru.
Don't say that, because people will get on your boots. Yeah, but Strago is simply terrible.
But alright, but Skate did say he is considered. He didn't say he actually was. I found that Strago was
Horrible.
weak in every conceivable way. I mean, you would think that his magic is very high, considering he's a mage knight or a magus, whatever. And it's not. I mean, it is higher than the average, but it's not as high as Sally's or Terra's magic.
I think it's low. I think it's about as high as Setzer's.
Maybe Terra's a very decent mage, but Realm's the best by far.
Oh, absolutely. If you take a look at her stats, you can see that Realm is always at least 15 magic points ahead of everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, Realm is the best mage. Realm is out of the question. No, but Strago, this is a bit of an enigma. Why is his magic so
I assume it's just
bad?
age.
It should be at least as good
He's
as Realm's.
old. Remember Thor?
Well, yeah, I guess you could explain it away with his age. But I don't know. I wish they would have made him
old and
I wish
frail.
they had made him more useful. By the way, Skaith seems to be avoiding certain doors because they're actually traps. Some of these doors are filled with those fire thingies called fire bombs.
They're just
bombs,
bombs.
I think.
Actually, you ran it for about 5 times.
Some of these doors produce
It's like Final
bombs
Fantasy
when
II.
you open them.
Yep.
So this is left in for a reason, but I'd like to talk about why Strago is terrible, besides the fact he has table stats, is that his blue magic just costs way too much MP to be useful. For example, White Wind costs 41 MP. That's just ludicrous when he only has about 200 when he starts out, meaning he can only cast it, 5 times? It's confusing. Like, why would it be so much MP? And the only ones that cost low MP are the terrible, terrible, terrible spells. Like the one I'm gonna get here. Which is self-destruct, by the way. I'm just getting it because...
Oh yeah.
Those things.
Yeah, but I thought White Wind was a very good spell. I mean, it heals you and your MP?
Yeah. No, it's you and status effects, I think. Maybe it's not. Maybe stat effects is only 7, but I don't remember. But it's just too much MP at this point in the game, and by the time he gets enough MP to cast it, it's just outdated.
And also, MP economy-wise, I always thought Spragle was a decent character, but maybe it's because I don't really use him that often. Yeah. I still thought it was pretty decent.
Oh god, that reminds me of something horrible.
This?
Yes.
What?
A certain chalk image.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yes, that.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Okay, make the passing reference and never talk about it again.
Yes, I will make sure you never.
So this is actually the first
even
time
imagine what that is.
I actually use Morph in the entire LP. Here's Morph. It boosts terror stats.
Oh, wow.
Lets it beat the...
Morph is basically the best ability in the game.
Lets me completely
Who's that
chase this
name?
boss.
Have you explained what Morph does?
Yeah, it basically when you get magic points, you are allowed to cast Morph. The more magic points you store up, the longer you can cast Morph. Basically, it doubles terror stats for a certain period of time. And as you can see there, I just killed the boss in one hit, and I hit maximum damage. Morph is very good.
Yeah.
Morph makes bosses much
Morph
easier.
is amazing.
And this is why when you have a choice between Terra and Celeste, you should always go with Terra, because Celeste is just a Terra without Morph, and that's inferior.
Terribly makes Cello worthless.
No, I think Runic was useful sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, for example...
In his that introductory battle, where you have no magic.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure, I can't think of an example right now, but I'm sure Runic comes to be useful at some point in the game. I remember that
it's more useful than Sketch.
Battle, when one of the bosses... Well, yeah, but anything is more useful. Lore is freaking more useful than Sketch. Yeah, you don't want to use realms Realm's ability.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, just teach her Firaga, and you're all set with her.
I mean, since we've already named Realm and she's going to join the party soon, I'll just talk about her ability quickly before she joins the party. Sketch, basically what it does is it makes a little picture of the enemy, and you can use one of two moves, except Sketch is the worst ability in the game because it uses the monster's stats when using the move, and monsters have awful stats. Like, you know Cyan, and his terrible magic power? Monsters have usually half or less of Cyan's magic power.
I actually thought of something interesting. Is it possible to use Sketch with Strago in the party and he'll learn the ability, or no?
Yeah, that's
possible.
really the only reason to ever use Sketch. So you can help Strago learn learn a lore that he's never going to use.
Yeah, so the thing is, Sketch is only useful for getting an ability you're never going to use. Sketch is useless.
I use Law with Gogo.
Why?
Because I like blue magic.
Okay. Alright. We should probably talk about the infamous Sketch bug.
Yeah, you mentioned, Skate mentioned that, near the beginning of the game. He did.
Yeah, in the first 50 minutes.
Really?
But at the very end of the LP, I promise, there would be an extra video where I chronicle all the glitches and nonsense this game has together.
Why would you talk about the Sketch bug at the beginning of the LP?
We were talking about all the bugs that were in the game, I think.
Oh yeah, we were talking about how this was the most bugged game until Skyrim.
Okay. Alright, but anyway, for those of you that don't remember, the Sketch bug is basically... Sometimes, when you use the Sketch ability, the game just freaked out and filled your inventory with hundreds and hundreds of dirks and gem boxes. Which, of course, are very useful items, but,
Not dirks.
You know... Yeah, the game would replace your entire inventory with these things, and sometimes your save file would get corrupted. Sometimes the game would crash. The Sketch bug is one of the most infamous bugs because of this. It basically made you start all over, without warning.
I can explain how it works. I actually know how it works, if you want to know. Basically, there's a certain kind of magic. It's like Mute, Berserk, and Vanish. And if it's in, I think, Realm's 18th slot for magic, and she misses when sketching, the glitch will activate. So, the best way to avoid the glitch is don't teach her Mute, Berserk, or Vanish, or just make sure that there isn't... Or you make sure you don't use Sketch ever, which is another way to avoid the glitch, because Sketch is terrible anyway.
I know a good way to avoid it. Don't use it.
I don't want to be redundant, but the one way I learned about the sketch bug was when someone said to sketch Gao when he comes out right after you've told him to leap in the belt. If you sketch him, that will miss and that will cause the bug to appear.
Yeah. It only happens in certain versions of Final Fantasy VI, which is the 1.0 version. Later versions of the game, basically they added one line of code. I think I mentioned this before. They added one line of code to make sure the sketch glitch doesn't happen. You can actually get rid of the Game Shark code if you're so inclined. Or you're crazy or something.
I'd like to know what that piece of code was. Yeah, no, they're not. It's not like they're gonna release the code or anything like that. That would be like, you know, if they did that, then Final Fantasy VI would be open source.
These games are from the 90s. They were assembled. They were almost assembled on the
Speaking of developing Super Nintendo games, I recently looked at some guy's code, and apparently, the intricacies of the console itself, that's written in assembly, but the code of the game itself is written in C, actually.
Oh, that's That's
It's not entirely
very-
exactly. That'd be insane.
I thought. Yeah, for a second I thought if Final Fantasy VI was written in assembly code, I would have hailed this as the greatest game ever made, regardless of whatever the
Yeah, if
context
this was assembled, this would be the most amazing game ever. Because it was the 90s and C was already there for 40 years.
I mean, this is a good game.
But yeah, but back then but even in the 90s, a lot of things had to be assembled. This compiler's one. I don't know much about technology. I just know
Excuse me, for those of you that don't know what these guys are talking about, they're talking about the languages, the computer languages in which the game was coded.
prehistoric computer languages
I
from the
learned that in
90s.
those days. I wish I learned.
Yeah.
I wish I learned C during those days because nowadays everything is high level. So, you know, a monkey could learn a programming language nowadays.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but C was still a high-level language.
Nowadays it's considered
not-
almost low
it's,
level. Like
so
close to low
so.
level.
It can
Yep.
be used at very low levels. But C++ can be used at very low levels too. So it's both high and low. It's an hybrid.
Okay.
You want high level? You should try C sharp. It's like
Skate, was that a law you just used?
No, the highest levels you have.
which one?
I thought we had agreed we were not using laws.